I find myself for the third time on the 1917 Hijaz Railway in Wadi Rum in Jordan, a 45-minute interactive train ride recreating one of the most significant events in the 20th century, and that we are still witnessing the aftermath today in Palestine. The Great Arab Revolt was an uprising against the Ottoman Empire that had a primary goal of independence and a unified Arab state from Aleppo to Aden with the support of Britain. But what history shows us is that Britain reneged on this agreement with the Arab leaders, with the Sykes-Picot Agreement, instead breaking up the region into a number of League of Nations mandates controlled by both Britain and France. The Ottomans ruled over the Levant from 1516 to 1918. During this time, the peoples lived diverse and parallel lives, with religion being one of the cornerstones of the designations between the peoples. The rise of Arab nationalism dates back to at least 1821 over all of the regions of the Levant. Moderate attempts for reform by Arabs in the Ottoman Parliament were unsuccessful, with the larger majority of Turks that dominated with their national terms. Through coups and counter-coups during the early 1900s, this led to the First Arab Congress in 1913 to demand greater autonomy and equality within the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans came into World War I on the side of the Central Powers, Germany and Austria-Hungary. This gave Britain the avenue to use the Arab nationalism to persuade the Arab leaders to join the Allies with the promise of independence. With a large number of Arabs in the Ottoman forces, it left only an estimated 5,000 soldiers under the direction of Faisal, Sheriff Hussein, and the direction of T.E. Lawrence to attack the Ottomans over the Levant. With the Levant being at the outer edge of the Ottoman Empire, it made it one of the weaknesses of the Ottomans, having their supply lines stretched over this area, and predominantly this Hijaz Railway. In 1914, in an exchange of telegrams, Britain guaranteed the Arabs of the Hijaz that they would be guaranteed independence, rights and privilege of the Sharifate against all foreign and external aggressions, in particular that of the Ottomans. Over the next year, 10 letters were exchanged, where Hussein had asked for money, weapons, ammunition and food. And in 1916, Britain agreed to this. With the belief of this support, Hussein, his two sons Ali and Faisal, broke with the Ottoman Empire. And thus began the Great Arab Revolt in June of 1916, with battles in both Mecca and Medina. Both Britain and France sent out officers to support the Hashemite forces in the Hijaz. Many battles were fought both on land and on the Red Sea. The Hijaz Railway was attacked many times with guerrilla attacks because of its supply line. The Allied Arabs wore a British-style uniform and a keffiyeh. During 1917, the Hijaz Railway was attacked in February, March, July and August. Unguarded sections of the Hijaz Railway were targets. The July attack had 500 charges that all went off at 2 a.m. So it is demonstrated with the support of Britain and France that the Great Arab Revolt was successful, because they were able to cut Ottoman supply line to Medina by attacking the Hijaz Railway. In April of 1918, the Arab Regular Army attacked a well-defended railway station at Ma'an. This neutralised this Ottoman position until September of 1918. In May of 1918, Operation Hedgehog was a concerted attempt to sever and destroy the Hijaz Railway when it launched a campaign to destroy the 25 bridges of the Hijaz Railway. Over a 5-week period, the Allies had moved from the Suez Canal to Aqaba on the 30th of July. A notable attack of the Hedgehog campaign was the storming on the 8th of August 1918 of a well-defended Hijaz railway station at Mudawara as they continued their campaign towards Amman. But the Allies were attacked from the air and they had to withdraw to Beersheba. In a final offensive, the Arab Northern Army, the Arab Regular Army, with tribal contingents from 5 different Bedouin tribes, in addition to Gurkha troops, British armed car squadrons, Egyptian Camel Corps and Algerian artillery were supported by the Royal British Air Force, the RAF. And by September, Ottoman, Austrian and German troops retreated. It is during this time that one of the many atrocities occurred, which was the Tafas massacre. This is supposedly where T.E. Lawrence claimed to have issued the no prisoners order, and where in the village of Tafas 250 German, Austrian and Turkish POWs were summarily shot. The descriptions and the horror of the Tafas massacre is available within the 7 Pillars of Wisdom, T.E. Lawrence's book. The first Arab revolt forces reached Damascus in September of 1918. By the end of World War I, the Egyptian expeditionary forces had seized Palestine, Transjordan, Lebanon, large parts of the Arab Peninsula and southern Syria. Medina had been cut off from the rest of the Ottoman Empire and they surrendered in January of 1919. In the aftermath of World War I, Britain and France reneged on their original deal and divided up the area under the 1916 Sykes-Picot Agreement in ways that the Arabs felt that were unfavourable to them. In addition, confusing the issue was the issuing of the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which promised support for a Jewish national homeland in Palestine. This series of events is often characterised as a betrayal of the Arabs by the British. And this is why we are in the situation that we are now in 2024. 76 years of betrayal by Britain and France to the Palestinian people have given us a Nakba, the displacement of 750,000 people, and 76 years of atrocities by the Zionists against Palestinians. And now we are witnessing on a daily basis the atrocities that they are perpetrating on innocent men, women and children. Up to 196,000 or 198,000 by the Lancet article of innocent people being murdered by the Zionists. So as we sit here and enjoy this interactive experience on the 1917 Hijaz Railway experience in Wadi Rum in Jordan, it actually had a long-term implications on how the world would turn out. And we are experiencing the consequences of that today. So potentially in another 76, 78 or 100 years, we may have a resolution to a lot of the issues that are occurring in the Middle East with the betrayal by both Britain and France of the Arab people that just wanted independence and autonomy to make their own decisions and live in their own way. But the colonial empire had other plans, and that basically has destroyed Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and potentially Iran in the future. So we are living in history while we observe a reconstruction of a historical event, the 1917 Hijaz Railway in Wadi Rum in Jordan. So I hope you've enjoyed some of these facts about the 1917 Hijaz Railway. I know it did sound a little bit political, but it's really important to understand where you are and what you are seeing so that you have some context. It's important that everybody comes and visits the area because it is an amazing country. Jordan is an amazing country, and everybody should come and visit at least once in their life. Stay safe and happy travels.